Thank you, Mr. Lawler. I now recognize Ms. Titus from Nevada for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm glad to hear that Turkey has kind of softened its opposition to Sweden's joining NATO, but at the same time, I'm concerned about the administration and some lawmakers softening their stance on the possibility of selling F-16s to Turkey. We know Turkey is nothing if not practical or transactional. I just believe that Turkey has proven it's not a reliable NATO ally, and its actions are contrary to the spirit of NATO. So I ask both of you, are you aware of any other of our NATO allies that we've imposed sanctions on under CATSA besides Turkey? And are you aware of any other NATO allies that antagonize other NATO allies, like flying into the airspace of Greece and Cyprus, besides Turkey?
So I'm not aware of other NATO allies that we have applied CATSA sanctions to. I do want to say it's no secret that we have differences with Turkey, but also from a NATO perspective, Turkey is also a long-standing and committed NATO ally. It does contribute strongly to NATO operations, including through the entire time of our NATO mission in Afghanistan. I think the most recent example in the flare-up of violence in Kosovo recently, Turkey
That's all right. I don't
quickly sent 500 additional soldiers.
I'll ask your colleague there the same two questions.
I also am not aware of any instance of imposing CATSA sanctions on another NATO member.
Any other NATO members flying in the airspace or taking aggressive action against other NATO fellow allies?
At the current time, no examples come specifically to mind.
Thank you. I think that makes Turkey the outlier, so whatever they may have done in the past, let's look at what they're doing in the present. I also want to ask you about the situation with Kosovo and Serbia. That seems to be boiling over again. We've seen divisive mayoral appointments in Kosovo, northern Kosovo. Ethnic Serbs are attacking the UN peacekeepers. Kosovo police officers are being detained in Serbia. Any instability in the Western Balkans, whether they're NATO members or not, is really a threat to NATO itself, and not to mention the security of the UN peacekeepers or to Kosovo's own NATO aspirations. I would ask you, Mr. Jones, how is the U.S. working with NATO to help lower the temperature between Kosovo and Serbia?
Well, we've called on all parties to take immediate action to de-escalate tensions. We've condemned the violence, which has been directed both at NATO troops, but also law enforcement and journalists. We've been deeply engaged with Kosovo and with Serbia to de-escalate and to urge both to quickly return to the EU-facilitated dialogue. And from the NATO perspective, NATO continues to be responsible for the safety and security through the and freedom of movement through the KFOR mission. Recently reinforced that mission to be able to execute that mission.
I know there are high hurdles for Kosovo to join as a full member of NATO, but can you tell us where things stand on its bid to join the Partnership for Peace program? Is the U.S. supporting that? Are the tensions causing that to be delayed or affected anyway negatively?
Well, there are hurdles to Kosovo moving forward. We've been clear that both Kosovo and Serbia need to immediately fulfill commitments to the normalization agreement and also its implementation annex. And we've continued to support Kosovo's 10-year transition plan to transform the Kosovo Security Force into a multi-ethnic NATO interoperable territorial defense force, and that would help move Kosovo forward on this path.
Ms. Cooper, you want to add to any of this?
Congresswoman, since the Balkans is not part of my portfolio, I'll refrain. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I'll yield back.